Yo, yo, I'm the cosmic in your hands. Wake up, wake up. You already know, love your soul, not your role. Taking a stroll, listening to rock and roll. You already know. Listen, Mike, I got something to say. So the reason I started this channel originally was to talk about people's emotions, right? And the reason that I'm talking about that. Hello. Sí, digo aquí, ¿no? En el otro lado. 30 tiene que estar allá, ¿no? Esa es 3021. ¿Cuál es esa? La 22. Somebody's asking me for instructions. La 23. 3023. Tiene que estar 20, 30, 21, 22. Mira por allá, pero los números parecen que están subiendo. Okay, chao. So yeah, that was an interruption. But anyway, so the reason I made this channel was to talk about emotions, right? Was to learn how to deal with your psyche and understand how you think and why you think the way you think, right? So that starts with me. So, I used to be a super romantic man, and some chick ruined that. But that's all right. I recuperated from that or whatever, and I just was having relationships in my last two marriages, almost my third right now, right? Ruined them because of my behavior, right? That I didn't understand. I thought it was, natural and normal for you to be, aggressive, defensive all the time. Just like on fight mode all day, every day, right? Especially with those who are close to me. So that damaged a lot of relationships, needless to say. So, I was just thinking about it, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Which was not, I am who I am, and that's all I can be. Is basically like, so I was thinking about it. So back in the days, I was like 24. I'm still 24. I was thinking about, psychology, right? And something they don't teach us in school. They use it on us. And I'm not saying they, I'm just saying people who are well read, people who are educated in the art of psychology, of manipulation, which is what they do nowadays. Check that view out. So anyway, so I started reading books. I was reading this book. I forgot his name, but it's Maslow's Ladder to Human Development, that kind of stuff. Then I read a book called Iron John, which was really good. It helped me understand a lot of things. But the things that I was understanding, because I was understanding and not overstanding, was because, I was just, look at that bird right there. Isn't that cool? I think that's a white herring. I'm not sure. I don't know. So what I did was I started reading these books and I was digging deeper. So I was just wondering, this is something that helps me doing this right here. It's therapy for myself, right? But it's also information for others who also have that issue, who also have issues or misunderstanding of who they are, how they get down, right? Or just not even caring, but thinking that that's the way they're supposed to be, or they was raised like that, in a war zone all day, every day, right? Shots being fired, people being murdered, all kind of stuff, right? So that in itself is like it's a war zone. So people who are in war zones, ask any veteran who has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Or syndrome, whatever. But I was looking into BPD. BPD is borderline personality disorder. So I looked up the categories, right? So it was like 10 criterias that you have to fall under in order to be diagnosed with that type of mental, disorder, whatever. So back in the days, I went through a lot of trauma all day, every day was trauma. So I was living life you know, defensive. What anybody told me, nobody could argue with me. Nobody was right. Nobody had opinions, and I was just like that. Just recently, I had those thoughts, right? Because it's conditioned. It's hard to recondition yourself when you don't have a guide, when you don't have anybody giving you information. How exactly do you recondition the way you've been conditioned to think, even though you may not believe you were conditioned to think, but you were. We all are. Starts with our parents, then it goes to the school, then the educational system work. Whenever anybody cannot control or understand how to use, what they learn to be able to treat themselves, not just others, with a lot more love and understanding and patience. So when that happens, you get caught up in a whirlwind of being aggressive and being just reactive. So I did that study, right? When I studied that information, I was like, oh shit, Omni Cosmic is crazy. But I came to the understanding that I was conditioned to be that way. And I didn't see any other way of being, right? Any other way of, being something not other than me, but something more comprehensive where I can understand it and I can guide it and I can ride it and I can take it to where I need it to be, which I'm still doing. It's an everyday process. So I looked up BPD, borderline personality disorder. Check it out, look it up if you can, right? There's a lot of crazy criteria in that, man. And I think I had like 9 of them. Most likely all 10. However, so after that, I was trying to figure out how to, first of all, come to the realization, right? That may be what it is, to the realization that I may have a mental disorder, right? This is real personal information, but, I think it's necessary because not only was I living with that for a long time and thinking it was cool, well, not cool because that, you just do shit like that term, I don't give a fuck, right? Like we used to use that term all the time. And, what you speak is what you manifest, right? So you have that attitude, or I had that attitude right there. Whatever gets in my way, I'm, whatever, knock it out, whatever the case may be. But as you get older, man, a lot of people say if I knew what I knew now back then, shit wouldn't happen. Not true. That's why you don't know it, because you have to go through life's experience, life's journey to figure that out. So I did that. I did an evaluation. I went to a therapist, still talking to her. And, so she said that I have PTSD, that I'm a good candidate for PTSD. So it didn't blow my mind. Like I said, I did some studying. It was not something that I was unaware of. It just couldn't categorize it. But I did categorize it incorrectly. Could have been bipolar, but again, there's certain things that's clinically known through studies, right? In the psychology world. So I did that. I said, okay, so I need some more information. I need some more guidance or what have you. So I bought a couple of books and started talking to my wife, which is, she's amazing. She's awesome, because she's willing to help me, right? So, and this is why I say that. I'm not saying that nobody was willing to help me. I wasn't willing to help myself. And people were walking on eggshells when they were around me, when I was younger, right? Because I would flip, at the flick of a switch. And, nobody wanted to bring it to my attention because they didn't know if it was going to trigger me and make me say or do certain things that would offend them. And then I just wouldn't give a fuck, right? If you're riding with me, you're riding with me. If you're not, you're not. Which is the attitude that I had. So what I'm doing, I talked to her, whatever, we did that, blah, blah, blah. They gave me some pills. Pills are off the chain, man. I'm not doing them things no more, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of side effects. And I had cancer, I was going through that. They would give me OxyContin. I became physically dependent on it. Didn't know, I called my big brother. I told him about it. He told me what to do. I did it. It was done. Thank you for that, bro. That's Pipe, my older brother. So, I did that, and I'm still doing it. And what's important here? What's the point, right? The point is that if you don't evaluate yourself, if like I had this hole in my belly, you know what I'm saying, all day, every day, feeling like, nobody was doing nothing for me, nobody's helping me, I'm always helping everybody, nobody helps me in the long run. But, that's my life, right? That's who I am. That's who I be. In the whole sense of the word, right? That's Sergio. That's what people know me, right? But a lot of people see me and the first reaction is like, yo, that's a mean dude. Because I used to walk with a mug all day, because that's everybody walks with a mug all day in the city, right? You ain't trying to get trampled on. So what happened was, boom, they gave me some medications. I used them, and as I was using them, they were causing all these crazy side effects, right? So I'm not trying to go through those side effects, man. Like I said, I had cancer, and that shit was no joke. I had me on Oxycontin patches. You ever have an Oxycontin patch? I know a fiend would love an Oxycontin patch. What? Every 4 hours, it's dropping in me. But I knew. Well, my doctor told me, hey man, you shouldn't be in pain at this point. You already had your transplant. It's a bone marrow transplant with my own blood. So I was like, yeah, that's I shouldn't be in pain. No. So like I said, I talked to my brother. So that helped me out. So when you realize that there's a better way of treating yourself, and the way you treat yourself is how you treat others, right? I mean, I never treated myself with aggression, but I was always on point, always ready for the ready, I walk by myself. I don't hang out with nobody. I don't take, contradictory or opinionation of the way I live my life from other people too well. I never did. Now I do. Now I do. But what's important is, how do you get to the point where you understand that something's wrong? Right? I got to the point where I knew, man, I just had 2 marriages. They both lasted 7 years. I'm married again, and I'm fucking this marriage up some way, somehow. So, I love my wife, and I love everybody that was around me in the past, but I just had something in me that was something I didn't understand. So now that I do, it's a bigger challenge, because it entails applying a lot of reading and a lot of, you gotta read to learn how to run your life, right? Most people don't, but I do, because I was subjected to a lot of trauma that subconsciously I was acting in a way where it was hurting other people and myself, and I didn't understand it. So anyway, I went through that. I'm going through that therapy now. I'm about to cut them off because they're causing me a lot of charge. But I'm gonna just put it like that. I'm gonna just put it like, the reason for this channel is to talk about that. I got my videos of my gaming, because that's what I like to do. I can barely concentrate talking about things that are important to me, right? So I got a bunch of information that I like to disseminate, man. I'm not a professional. I'm not a freaking doctor. I'm just a person that realizes that I had an issue that I have to work on, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that do have the same thing, especially from where we come from, the city, and it's not just specific to that. People that have been in war. People have had issues in their life. Those people have these types of emotional instabilities, right? That cause you to react when you run into a negative situation. Like I can't have a confrontational situation. I know that. I gotta walk away from somebody. At this point, I haven't had that yet. Except for the people I love. They confront me about certain things that I do. Certain things that I say. How I talk to people. And like I said, I don't. It's something that I'm working on, and I gotta be focused. I have to be consistent. I have to be aware all the time of how I'm feeling. So I got this wheel of emotions. I'm gonna put that out there, give y'all a link so y'all can check it out. It's 300, right? And my emotions were just either I'm angry or I'm happy. There was no in between. There was no gray. There was no gray. Either I'm rocking with you, we having fun, we doing the thing, right? Or, I would let stuff. I would let people's violations on me, or what I deem to be violations. I would let that ride, and I would let it build. I'm like, oh yeah, you remember when you did this to me? Remember when you did that? But I'm learning right now to be assertive with those type of situations, because being assertive not only sets boundaries for myself, but also for that other person that's in that situation with me. And that's a good thing, because communication with each other is the only way we're going to understand what's going on, right? And it's hard to identify those things if you don't know how to, if you don't know the definition of a certain feeling. Instead of saying you're angry, you might be upset, you might be irritated, or you might be disappointed in whatever it is. And those terms will help the person that you're dealing with understand. And if they love and respect you, boom, they leave it at that. All right, cool, man, I appreciate it. Keep it moving or whatever. But there's a lot that goes into this. It's a daily thing, man. It ain't like, I read this book, I'll apply these skills, and then I'm okay. No, I tried that. I tried that a couple of months ago. Dropped the ball like a mom. Like you wouldn't believe. A friend of mine used to say to me a long, long time ago when I was a kid that I'm my own worst enemy. Now I know what that means. But you have to live life, to get the experience and to get the know-how to be able to deal with yourself so that you can deal with others. Like, for instance, when you go to McDonald's, especially McDonald's, and you order something, right? And they give you the wrong shit, right? So you get in your whip. Like right now, my wife is like, did you check the bag? Did they give us what we needed? Because we done been. So I'll drive off. And like I said, back then I used to just let shit build up. So now this McDonald's, I got beef with this McDonald's now, because they done played me several times, right? But when you understand what happened, right? The situations, I ordered something, they didn't give me the right thing. Let me go back. Now, back in the days, you order your meal, whatever, you go to the whip, you see what you got, and you're like, yo, man, and then you go back. And then, now you're upset, like now you're angry, right? You're angry because you ordered something, they repeated it back to you, but still gave you the wrong shit. It could be a multitude of things is why that happened, but you don't know. You don't care to know, right? The fact is that they gave you something that you didn't order. So I would go back in. Damn, Panda Express has a long ass line. Look at that line. That place is mad salty. So anyway, so you walk back in. I walk back in the store like, yo, man, you gave me the wrong thing, man. What's wrong with you? Excuse. So now you got an attitude. Now they got an attitude because they feel that energy, right? They know they fucked up. So what kind of response you think you're gonna get? You don't care what kind of response you're gonna get. You just want your food. So, like, yo, man, you gave me the wrong stuff, man. Like, yeah, all right, man, my bad. You know what I'm saying? So now he's like, whatever. You're like, what, man? What's your problem? So it ain't his problem. You have already been given the food. Now you make it an issue. All you gotta do is go in there, say, hey, excuse me, or whatever. Yo, y'all guys gave me the wrong food, man. There's no extra. You don't need to make no extra comments. Like people just say stuff like dumbasses. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna be offended too. So again, what you expect you're gonna get? You're gonna get drama, right? And you don't want no drama for no cheeseburger. Just go in there and say, hey man, you guys give me. Okay, so put yourself in their shoes, right? Which you already have. You already in their shoes, and then. Think about how you would like somebody to approach you if you made a mistake, right? You know, you don't want nobody coming at you like, hey man, being disrespectful or condescending, making you feel a certain type of way, right? So that's just an example. And there's many, many other things that can be applied as examples. There's people trying to tell you, what to do with your life. You shouldn't be doing this. If they love you. They're just trying to advise you. So these are things that I had to go through, understand that, right? And for me, like when I got in a situation like that, like a confrontational situation, I'm ready to thump. I'm ready to get it on. I'm ready to fly them. I'm ready to fly them knuckles, right? And it shouldn't be like that, man, for me, because I'm at a higher level in terms of I can communicate with people, and that's the most important part. Is communicating. How do you do that? Without thinking you're feeling weak, without thinking, that you've been played. You don't want to think that way. That's not what you want to think. It's windy out here. Yeah, it's windy. What you want to think, you want to be positive, you want to be confident about yourself, right? Which you are, and use your verbal skills. Be like a Nas, be a lyricist when you're dealing with that situation, right? And you see how people respond. Like you can't, you don't know how they're gonna respond first and foremost. But when you go in there with that certain air of debonair, you just talk, say, hey man, and that's the best way to go about it, Rarely do I run into situations where I gotta check somebody, right? Because I say I don't run with nobody. But sometimes you gotta do that, and there's situations, at your job, at home, in traffic, like, somebody's, like a couple of weeks ago, this dude was in a truck. Like, I got a little car, I got a little Fit. So he's, beeping his horn, like, and he's on, like, literally on my bumper. So, I'm about to jump out on this cat, you know what I'm saying? So I flipped on him because he's beeping his horn and we're in traffic. The light's red. There's like 7 cars in front of me. What you want me to do? Like, don't be an idiot. But, I had to use some skills that I learned while trying to figure it out, right? And I didn't at that point. I was like, I opened my window, I'm yelling at him like, da da da, and that kind of stuff could have escalated to a situation where I had no control over, and I had control from the jump because he was behind me. So things like that, you want to. And today, right now, a lot of people, happen to me, you get depressed, you get overwhelmed, and those things tend to bear down on you like you wouldn't believe, right? Or you already know. People committing suicide, people using drugs, to get over this situation that they put us in. Right? But we warriors, man, all day, every day. We don't die, we multiply. But in this day and age, another aspect of this channel is to also introduce transcendence of your life as a human being, right? You afraid to die, everybody's afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die. How I die, that's a different story. But I'm choosing to die the way I choose, right? I'm manifesting that in myself, right? In my sleep. But, if you don't know where you're going after this, you're stuck. You're coming back. You want to come back to this place? I don't want to come back to this place. I already had my journey. Probably several 100,000 times. Who knows? Million lifetimes, right? But you come back until you get it right. Until you're able to live in harmony with this universe, with this, with this planet, with this, what people like to call, in this realm, right? Because there's higher stuff than what we're going through. The materialism and the pain and suffering is all part of this realm. Once you out of here, there's nothing but frequency and vibration, sound, right? So once you get there, you understand that. And just to let you know, if somebody screams at you like, yo, you feel that, right? You feel it because it's sound, right? It's an aggressive, hyper, right? Like, warning, right? So that's all. It's all. We're all vibration, man. Sound. That's another topic. But that's what we have to start studying. You have to start studying our own people, right? Yo fui boricua, tú eres dominicano, esas son tu gente, esas son la gente en donde tú tienes que darle homenaje a ellos, a tu abuela, a tu tatarabuela, ¿tú me entiendes? Los indios tuyos. No los indios de otra gente, la filosofía de otra gente. Por eso estamos en donde estamos, pidiéndole a otros que nos dé libertad. Eso no se brega así. Un hombre, si tiene poder sobre ti, no te va a dar libertad, porque después pierde el poder. So, I'm talking Spanish for my Spanish people. Lo que estamos hablando es de los sentimientos de uno, la psicología de uno propio, de dónde viene la actitud, la forma en que tú tratas a ti mismo y la otra gente, ¿verdad? Yo estaba diagnosticado clínicamente con un desorden mental y desafortunadamente he pasado por muchos problemas por eso, porque no tuve la educación, el entrenamiento, lo que tú le quieres llamar. Pero poco a poco me di de cuenta que la forma en donde como yo estaba viviendo en la sociedad no era correcto, porque no me importaba nada, porque así yo me crié en las calles, teniendo que ser peleador, teniendo que ser un guerrero, ¿tú me entiendes? Y eso es lo que cae en nosotros. Nosotros tenemos esa sangre, pero también hay que ser diplomático a veces con la gente, con las situaciones, pero en donde tú te sientas cómodo, te sientas right true, no te tienes que esconder, no te tienes que huir, pero te defiendes sabiendo que tú no estás ofendiendo, ¿verdad? Y tampoco tú quieres que te ofendan, pero a veces la raza humana son unos locos. Pero definitivamente lo que estamos hablando aquí es de las emociones, cómo se puede expresar uno sin sentirse enojado o alegre, que entre medio de esos dos sentimientos hay casi 297 emociones que tú puedes explicar a otra persona en manera de especificarte en cómo tú te sientes en esos momentos. So, básicamente eso es lo que estamos hablando en mi canal, a través de los videos de gaming, porque eso es lo que me gusta hacer, compartiendo lo que yo aprendí durante mi vida y sigo aprendiendo para aquellos que necesitan un poquito de compartir, tú sabes, de compartiendo, ¿tú me entiendes? Compartir la realidad de las emociones de uno, porque si uno se esconde, si uno atrasa los sentimientos, uno se explota, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿quién siente eso lo más malo? Probablemente tu familia, tus queridas, tus amigos, y para mí siempre fue mis esposas, que tuve casado tres veces. Entonces lo que me sucedió fue que yo traté de entender por qué yo arruino mis relaciones. Yo soy una persona romántica, yo soy una persona muy chévere, pero tengo ese lado oscuro en donde yo no entendía, donde yo pensaba que era natural, así yo me crié, esa es la que hay, tú me entiendes, pero no, eso no se brega así. Entonces yo me hice la pregunta, ¿qué es lo que está sucediendo dentro de mí, en donde yo he arruinado 2 relaciones y casi la tercera, pero todavía estoy casado? Porque mi esposa es una super mami de mentalidad. Ella es muy sabia, tiene mucha información y ella me está ayudando. Ella me ama, ella me está ayudando todos los días. Y, ¿sabes? A veces nosotros estamos envueltos en la vida tratando de ganar dinero, tratando de pagar la renta, tratando de no caernos en donde los pusimos, tú sabes, porque esa es la vida. Pero meditación, tranquilidad, hablando, conversando con tu pareja, con quien sea, en donde tú sientes que tienes que que comunicarte, y cómo comunicarte es algo que es muy importante después que uno llegue a esa sabiduría en la vida. So, de eso estamos hablando, y en estos momentos estoy tratando de subir el canal, y lo estuve haciendo anoche, pero tuve unas technical issues. Y lo que voy a hacer es tratar de hacerlo esta noche para poder diseminar o dar la información en donde ustedes lo puedan leer, en donde ustedes puedan actualizarlo si lo necesitan. Yo voy a estar ahí. Yo me llamo Sergio, como uno me conoce, como Omni Cosmic. Y esa es otra historia, cómo yo llegué con ese nombre, cómo me apareció ese nombre en el sueño. Pero no, ya tú sabes, me vean en el internet. Si tienen, tú sabes, yo no soy un doctor, yo no soy un psicólogo, solamente soy una persona en donde está tratando de compartir información de nuestras emociones y cómo tratar de comunicar en vez de ser, tú sabes, dramático, agresivo, ignorante, grosero. Si te importa, si no te importa, pues vete a otro canal. Bueno, nos vemos on the Cosmic in the house. One love, love you so, not your role.